This NFL Picks Week 9 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
What's up, Tommy? How we doing?
Who are you talking about?
Just talking right to Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito,
Oh yeah, baby.
who is not starting. Daniel Jones has been confirmed to start it. Ryan, over under the number of times Brian Dable has to confirm that Daniel Jones is the starter between now and the end of the season.
How many weeks are there left?
Well, for you guys,
8.
yeah.
I'll say over under. You want me to set the number? Or you want me to make a prediction?
Make a prediction.
I'll say the number set.
You guys have 9 games left.
The number set at 4.5, and I would take under.
All right. Off to a
Is
great
that cheating?
start. No, I mean,
Okay.
I mean, setting your own number and then picking the side. I mean, you may that it's fine, right?
I would have taken the under on a half.
Yeah, unfortunately for you, that didn't cash. And Daniel Jones's streak of not getting it done in prime time continues. Real quick programming note: shout out to the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the MLB World Series. I had the Dodgers. I think I gave out Dodgers in 6 on the podcast. Not quite there. Freaking Yankees couldn't. I mean, totally blew that game. Ryan, do you have anything to say about your Yankees?
Well, first, let me congratulate the Dodgers for purchasing a championship. Very bold of you.
Oh yeah, no, the Yankees never spend money.
That's a true statement, but I mean, come on, at least be original. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like the Dodgers were much better than the Yankees.
Dodgers, awesome. Congrats.
They finally got there.
Yeah.
All the years of living out here and watching them trip over their dicks.
Oh, they did win in 2020, but it was a shortened season.
We don't count those championships.
Government locked us up. The chat is fired up, Ryan. Maybe they're on some of that shed powder. If you listen to the Thursday night props episode, there was a new word introduced to the SGPN lexicon: shed powder. Terry checking in, going, "Can we get some shed powder talk to start off?"
Is there a shirt yet? Do we have a shirt design in the works yet?
Take me to the shed powder, something like that.
I mean, there's
the place you go is the sugar shed.
it's almost like we got to build a segment.
I mean, shout out to Rich Fat Baby, just going full rogue.
Yep.
The divorce is treating him well, and hit a crazy bet. Go back and listen to that. Obviously, get our Thursday night props. We've been on a nice run. Of course, we hit Josh Oliver first touchdown last week. So tough week if anyone was trying to troll us with your picks suck or stuff like that. I just see the sign. It's been 2 days since last 65-1 first touchdown hit.
Sean, it's been a couple of weeks since I've missed a lock as well.
Yeah, I mean Ryan doesn't mind talking about his incredible lock heater, so I will bring it up for him.
For it. It's not like I'm on a no hitter. I'm not completely perfect.
You are. You've hit 6 in a row, 7 out of your last 8. Incredible run. My locks have not been great, but I feel like I got a formula now. I'm deciding my locks ahead of time on the show.
Oh wow!
For the most part,
mean?
Yes.
You're not raw dogging it. I thought we agreed.
I am to a certain degree, but I have a small collection of picks that are lock potential.
Interesting.
I feel like I get to the end of the show, maybe I've been drinking, and my lock selection is the one thing that I really need to improve on. I'm on a bit of a teaser heater, but really the pride and joy, the Circa Million ride. We're on an 8-2 run, 4-1 back-to-back weeks. So let's build on that. I feel like hitting our stride with the Circa million.
Yeah, I would say in general we're in position, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean we're both. What am I? I'm 7 games above 500. You are 8 games above 500, Ryan. And yeah, I mean, I feel like overall pretty good. I mean, your lock percentage has been bonkers. I've been doing pretty decent with the dogs. I started out hot, then cooled off. Had a nice winner on the Rams last week. Feeling pretty good about a couple dogs. The dogs could be barking here. It's I mean, week 9. We're right in the after this. We will be officially the halfway mark of the season. I had some people reach out, Ryan. Do we want to do a futures podcast? Maybe checking in, maybe adding in a couple futures. I feel like
are you suggesting that people are interested in that?
Yeah, if you're interested in that, let us know.
So here would
they're distracted by all the shed powder talk. If I'm being honest, the chat.
My basic take on a futures episode would be maybe it's interesting, but also maybe it's not that interesting because we're basically talking about this stuff unless you just want us to go through our sick bets.
No, I think we take a look.
Do you want me to tell you about my Tyler Reddick to win the whatever the NASCAR championship is called?
No one
is that.
I mean,
no, we're not doing that right now.
I think I saw Cody in the chat. Shout out to Cody.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Cody because without me even asking, he sent over some notes and suggestions about ways to diversify my risk over the last 2 weeks. So
while we're talking futures, Terrell pointing out the Giants 50-1 sack future is not dead. No, not at all. Alive and well. Unfortunately, I can't say that alive and well for the rest of the team, but the sack future definitely is a live dog for you guys.
What's your favorite future that you have in your pocket right now?
Oh man, that's
is that? Do you want some time to think about it?
I'll tell you just. And it's not that necessarily the biggest number that has a chance to hit, but I took a ton of bullets for being bullish on the Denver Broncos. So the fact that that team is playing pretty well, has been great ATS, won me a bunch of money, has been a live dog. I think being bullish on the Broncos and Bo Nix. I've heard a lot of sharps saying you can't lay 11 points with Bo Nix. What are we doing with Bo Nix? Like, well, you has to. You can't put a golf ball on a tee.
So the Broncos win total.
They haven't hit that yet. I think their win total was 5.5.
You were pretty high in the division. That still seems like a little bit of a pipe.
No, that you're incorrect. I did not play Broncos.
Playoffs.
Yeah, make playoffs.
Yeah.
They're 5-3. I think the second half of the division is tough, but I like their chances. Their win total is 5.5. They're 5-3, so I feel decent about that. But hey, this is the National Football League, Ryan. Anything can happen. Don't need to count those chickens before they hatch. Also, programming note: shout out to we did a bonus episode on the Breeders' Cup. We had Chase, aka the Wolf of Oaklawn, and Randy Moss, horse racing expert Randy Moss, on to talk some ponies. So fun bonus episode there, and we will be adding a college basketball opening night episode as well. Taping it sometime this week. So perfect reason to smash that subscribe button. Toss us 5 stars on Spotify. Saw the NBA Gambling Podcast guys also joined us there on the Spotify top 50 sports charts.
Hello.
So toss us a few 5 stars. Toss the NBA Gambling Podcast guys some 5 stars, and let's fucking crush corporate gambling.
The NBA season hasn't even started yet, right? It's not Christmas yet.
Well, yeah, they are playing games. There are some gambling opportunities, Ryan.
That was Bronny doing.
He did not get in. I don't think he got in today.
Yeah, I would say I know you didn't ask, but my Cardinals to win the division, favorite future I got in the pocket. But I'd also point out that if you are out there and you heard us foretell Jameis entering the equation and took those Jameis Winston most passing yards and passing touchdown at 200-1 in the division only. Please send in, send in bet slips because we're very alive. No one in that. Lamar's had a decent year, but Burrow, okay. But I mean, if Jameis is going to sling it around for 330 a week, We are alive.
Yeah, I wanted to. So Joe Burrow obviously has a head start at 1,993 yards.
Okay,
but I think maybe we missed it by a couple games. And crazy.
We're not dead.
No, we're not dead.
Jameis is he's gonna be hawking him down.
Chad is saying, "Fuck it, just go Winston MVP, Kramer."
Oh man, I mean, how great! I know we already kind of talked about it, but how great was it watching Jameis out there do exactly what he thought? I mean, I was so close to a mega same game parlay on the Jameis moonshot game. He did everything. He made Njoku good again.
Oh,
Cedric Tillman went off.
Cedric Tillman ladder. I gave out that hit.
Like fuck you. Don't bring up the Kyle Hamilton almost interception. Guess what? Maybe that was Jameis magic.
He does have some magic.
That ball was spicy.
Ryan, to clarify, Bronny James did smash his over 1.5 points. He got 2 points.
Oh, thank God! I was considering going all in.
And 2 assists. Well, they were really getting blown out. So,
what the grandparents there or something in Cleveland? We got a little. We got to make sure Bronny gets into the game.
Yeah,
come on. They
were getting blown out. So yeah, Bronny saw some action. Shout out to you, Bronny. All right, Kramer. Enough messing around. Let's get to the picks.
All right. And you guys heard it at the top of the show. Sean not raw dogging it this week. Very interesting. I'm sure hopefully he busts out a monocle, maybe a pipe to get out all those thoughts he has in his manicured notes. -2 Thursday Night Football. The Jets are laying. Sean, this is an interesting matchup here. -130 on the money line, +110 for the Texans. 42 is the total. I've not consumed a lot of sports gambling content this week, but you tell me this is going to be a pros versus Joe's game. I see the 79% of the bets currently on the Texans would tell me this is a pros versus Joe's game. But yet when I look at my numbers, Sean, I make the Houston Texans a favorite.
Yeah.
So I call me a donkey. But if I'm going to get, if I'm riding with the public right now against the Sharps, and it's going to be in this matchup on Thursday Night Football, where the one elite unit on the field is the Houston Texans defense and a pass rush that could and will give Aaron Rodgers trouble. I don't know what the conversation's about.
Well, and this is interesting
because team is a dumpster fire.
The Texans were favored at some point in the week. Then the reveal of Stephon Diggs being out for the season. I don't know if that's what did it or if there was some money coming into the market. But yeah, they went from being the favorite to now being the dog.
What metrics are we looking at that makes us like the Jets? Yeah,
and that's the other thing. Like if you're a sharp, you're looking at your power ratings. But what power ratings has this game being close? Like how have you not seen what you've seen out of the Jets basically since that Thursday night win against the New England Patriots? They've looked very bad. They are a bad team. Yes, there are talented players on this roster, but they're not playing together at a team on any level. The defense has gotten worse since Robert Saleh has been fired. The offense hasn't gotten better with the addition of Devontae Adams. Yeah, maybe Garrett Wilson has a couple more plays. There's no fight in this team. Aaron Rodgers is just coming off as like a pouty, negative energy bitch that's dragging this team down. And Giants and the Jets are now a combined 4-33 straight up in night games since 2019. We got another primetime game here. And even if you're looking at like power rating, they're not playing well. I really struggled to see the case for the Jets. To me, the final coup de grace is, and this is a great angle. It's a trend, but also it makes sense. And those are the trends I like that actually makes sense in practice. Well, so many trends are like, hey, on the 4th Saturday of October, they're undefeated.
Yep. Over the last 15 years.
Yeah. This makes sense though. Rookie head coaches on Thursday night have struggled both straight up and ATS, and Ulbrich is a rookie head coach who's clearly in over his head. Have you seen any good coaching moves? Now we killed our boy Greg Zuerlein on the prop show. They conveniently, after that episode, moved him to IR, Ryan. So the Jets will not be having Greg Zuerlein out, which I think to me, replacing Greg Zuerlein is like the only positive I've seen out of this Jets team in a long time. Also,
Sean, you've been very into the kickers this year.
No, not at all. Just great storyline.
Very deep on the kickers. Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker sucks. Yes.
You actively cheer when if any TV on God's Eye shows a Justin Tucker mistake.
Yeah,
you are
Justin Tucker. I like fading. Other than that, I've had literally no kicker takes. My other take is, Aaron Rodgers lost his safety blanket in Alan Lazard, and it sounds crazy to factor Alan Lazard into a handicap of a game in 2024. But when the Houston Texans are bringing the pressure, when Derek Stingley is locking down Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers would love to dump it off to Alan Lazard, who's not going to be there. We hit on it on the first touchdown market. I think it creates some interesting long shots for those other guys, but man, this is, I get the Jets are a desperate team, but Ulbrich summed it up best saying, quote, he called Sunday's loss to the team a moment of darkness. And Aaron Rodgers is like, yeah, you got to lean into the darkness. That's not winning formula. Like this is not a team that's ready to win a football game on any level. Give me the Houston Texans. How are they a dog?
Yeah. You said it well. I mean, and just injury report also extremely long for the Jets. Worth noting that this is the first Thursday night matchup for D'Amico Ryans. So we'll see how he does there. But I do not believe he's played a Thursday night game. But I'm with you. This is less about the fact that there's inexperience at the Jets head coaching position and more about the fact that it seems like Robert Saleh was a stabling mechanism for this Jets coaching staff. And I don't see things getting better before they get worse. Again, as I started with, especially against an elite defense. Last thing I'll say, this number was -3 back in May. And I get it that the Texans offense has been downgraded severely, but I would argue their defense has been upgraded. And so it went from -3 to -2.
Couldn't slow down Jacoby Brissett,
which
wasn't a must win.
I would say the Jets were slightly projected to be slightly higher than the product we're seeing right now. So I don't. This tiny move does not make.
I mean,
sense
I make the Jets a favorite over the Panthers, the Giants, maybe. Like, there's not a lot of teams I'm making the Jets a favorite over.
Giants pass rush would give them a problem. All right, so is this potential? Are we potentially playing a Thursday contest play here?
Yeah, no, I'm not scared of Thursday in the contest. Came for us, cash for us last week, or no, I put that in my personal contest. But yeah, I love playing Thursday night in the contest. I'm not scared.
You are. It's not plus EV, but I could see why you.
No, I don't see how it impacts your expected value.
You want information. Something could change. One of your picks might become dead.
Have we ever changed a pick?
No.
From the podcast to when we submitted Circa Million?
No, we have not.
Okay, so I don't think it impacts us.
Okay. Sunday, Sean, we have and worth noting, couple teams on bye, the Steelers and the Niners. We have 8 early games, so God's eye will be firing on all cylinders. This first one might be on one of the smaller TVs on the side. Patriots, Titans. Well, Sean, the Pats, they unclear. It seems like we'll be without quarterback Drake May.
Although I will say, I don't. If I had to guess, I would say no, because usually if you get knocked, if you have a concussion, especially at the quarterback, you don't play the next week. But he was a limited participant on Wednesday. So if you're not a limited participant on Wednesday, there's like no chance. The fact that he was a limited participant, it means in the protocol he's got a shot.
Yeah,
I would still put it. I would probably. I would say Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter. Yeah. Almost dropped an L bomb there, Ryan.
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
There is still. I'd put it at like 15% chance we see Drake May.
Pats catching 3.5 plus 160 on the money line, minus 180 the other way. 38 is the total. The Titans appear to be a sharp position here.
Sharp's loving.
I had a hard time getting this one out. I don't quite understand that.
To me,
two things. One, the Titans would be a close your eyes special, but they're favorite.
Yeah.
And two, are we just gonna throw away the kneecap biting trend?
Not me. I love the biting kneecap trend, and it's not just teams after facing lines are now 0-6 straight up, 0-6 ATS.
Simple.
failing to cover by an average of 19.3 points per game. And this goes back over the last 3 seasons, Ryan. Shame on us for not being on this sooner. Now that corporate gambling's shown a spotlight, although it seems like the people and the market are still ignoring it. 14 and 25 ATS over the last 3 seasons. That's insane. I'll say this.
It's not nothing, Sean.
No, L'Jarius Sneed is still out for the Titans. This to me is you cannot take this Titans team laying 3.5 points. I mean, if you take out that Miami game, Tennessee is averaging 14.8 points per game. And all the yards in the world, all that garbage time, how many points did they put up against the Lions? 14. They were down huge in the second half, put up, I'm pretty sure 0 points in the second half. I mean, they were going into that was I misread the box score. At halftime, they were down 35-14. How do you not get any garbage points against the Lions team?
You don't want to show up. You don't want to show up your opposition.
What do you mean?
Sportsmanship.
Well, on the Titans part,
they want to run the clock out.
This is just crazy. I mean, the case against the Pats are, hey, they suck. They had a big division win, and now they're going on the road. That's an easy enough case to make. But where is the case that you can make for the Titans to be 3.5 point favorites through a key number? What key number is this team covering as a favorite?
So I will say this
and Gerard,
there are some threes.
We came into Tennessee with obviously a ton of optimism. That's been wrong on a bunch of levels.
Yes.
Will Levis, the optimism for him to make a jump didn't happen. He made a leap, but it was into a cliff instead of a leap up. He took a leap off of a tall building and went tumbling down. But I think also I came in with optimism for the coaching situation. I've not seen good coaching on this team. Will Levis aside, the way they handled that, the way they weren't able to coach him up, the way they weren't able to limit the turnovers, and the special teams gaffes are continuing. Like I wanted to give Will Levis a break early on because they had back-to-back games where they had punts blocked for either a touchdown or near touchdown, and then they're letting punt return for touchdowns in this Lions game. Like their special teams are horrible. So there's a million reasons to like I mean, really, it's just the Titans cannot be a favorite. This is insane.
I would say I'm with you that it does. We've said this watching the games that maybe we were off on Brian Callahan.
Yeah,
he might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer. But my caution in this game is that it's not too different of a handicap from the Texans Jets game in that you have one team that has a really good unit, its defense, and they're able to stop the run, which could give the other team some trouble. But no, I'm not. I'm going to obey the kneecap trend. I'm also fine fading a sharp position on the Titans, where I really do. I think that's part of what I'm seeing is there is a stubbornness to the coaching that feels a little bit more than just like things aren't working out. For them.
And I thought what they did in the offseason, Brian Callahan, like there was
very wrong.
There was an upside case to be made. We made it. It was wrong. Now it's time to adjust. If you're still holding on to your preseason optimism of the Titans, and that's the only reason you could have them as 3.5 point favorites, this is insane. It's insane.
Insane. Not to I mean, I will say also, and I haven't gotten on my injury report kick in a little while, but the injury reports are getting hilarious. They're all just very long, and it's a lot of like, okay, I see what you're doing here. All right, so we agree twice. Next up, 2 dogs, Sean. We are sharp. Game number 2 on Sunday in the early window. The Los Angeles Chargers head to Cleveland, who, by the way, is looking towards the bye week. Cleveland, a 1-point home dog, plus 100 on the money line, minus 120 for the Chargers. 43 is the total. This is an interesting spot because I could see the instinctual reaction to want to fade Jameis after what appeared to be a miraculous performance by this Browns team. And the Chargers, by the way, coming off a nice win where they didn't even come close to worrying about covering a 7.5 point spread. This number has come down on the look ahead from 3.5 to 1, which tells me that is effectively the okay. Jameis is better than we thought he was move. Although if that's a full move off of Watson, I would say it still hasn't moved enough. I'm a little, yeah. And then the other general principle is just this Cleveland team at home is always a much better. That the home road splits for this team have been quite stark over the last couple of years, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And if I'm loving what they're doing on offense, building some momentum into the bye week against the Chargers team, that I think that they're going to be able to do. I think they're going to be able to slow down the run for the Chargers, and then that puts the Chargers in a very interesting situation where their receivers, who aren't exactly the most talented guys, are going to have to win. And I don't mind taking the Browns in that situation, even if I am tying on to a very emotional win and saying they're going to be able to get up and do it again.
How can you say the sky's the limit when there's people on the moon? That was courtesy of Jameis Winston.
I love that.
I like Jameis.
I'm going to say that in my life to my kids at some point.
I like Jameis. I like the optimism. I would love for Jameis Winston to take this Browns team and go on a run. But
no,
I'm sorry. The Chargers are a well-coached team. They tackle well. They fly around to the ball. They bring energy. They bring enthusiasm. Ryan, when do you take the Chargers? When they're on the road. This is when they show up. And this is a big step up in defense that the Browns are facing. I know the Ravens are seen as a team that has a good defense, but newsflash, the Ravens defense is not good. 23rd in defensive EPA. The Ravens have been winning via shootout. Now the Browns are able to slow them down a little bit. It was clearly a massive get up spot for them as division dogs. This is like, hey, we finally got Jameis, and now it's the game after the game. The Browns are missing Greg Newsome. They're also missing Denzel Ward is out with the concussion. Or sorry, no, Greg Newsome is playing. He was saying Herbert has the best arm talent they've seen this year. I just think this Chargers team is a well-coached team. They win ugly. And I'm predicting this to be an ugly game. I didn't think they could cover the big number against the Saints. They did that. I think they're going to be able to close your ears, Ryan. I think they're going to be able to turn over Jameis Winston. The last time Jameis Winston had 3 touchdowns in a game, you got to go back to October 21st, 2021. He had 4 passing touchdowns. He followed it up with 13 points and 1 touchdown.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think this is just a tough spot. Harbaugh dominates the Eastern time zone, if you're into that at all. And West Coast teams in the Eastern time zone, I think people factor that in more than they should. This to me is more, I think, the best unit on the field, Ryan. And I think that is a good way to handicap these close games is going to be the Chargers defense. So the Chargers defense get a key turnover. Joey Bosa has himself a game and they get the win. They get the cover. Sorry, Jameis. Not sorry. Give me the Chargers.
Potential rain for this one.
Okay.
Worth noting.
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers.
I can't believe I can't believe you're doing that. Did you not? I mean, you're going to see Jameis hype his teammates up before the game, and you're going to be like, "Fuck, what have I done?" New Orleans heads to Carolina for the 3rd game in the early window. Sean, the Saints are laying a big number here against your Panthers, -7.5, -350 on the money line. 43.5 is the total, plus 290 on the Panthers. No, thank you. It does seem like the Panthers are going against a whole Saints team as Derek Carr returns just in time to pad his stats against the Panthers. Isn't this the? I know we were on the Saints last week.
Yeah,
but this seems like the mega smash spot for the Saints, even though they're on a back-to-back road spot.
Right.
Even though the number has moved from. Sean, this opened back when they opened the numbers -1 for the Saints. Last week when they opened the look ahead, -4.5 for the Saints. Now it's -7.5.
I mean, if you're making a case for the Carolina Panthers, you just put your hand up and say, I don't watch football.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can watch NFL professional football and think the Carolina Panthers are a team you could bet on. There's just no way, right?
They've killed my close your eyes special 3 separate times this season.
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you can make your power ratings, and they shouldn't. Bo Nix shouldn't be laying 7 points. This Panthers team, they're getting healthy at the right time. Bryce Young sucks. Okay.
Yep.
As someone who sucked at football and couldn't be a professional quarterback, I know it when I see it. Right? He's not good.
I can't relate. Sorry.
Bryce Young is starting now. Maybe if you're talking me into Andy Dalton, 7.5 points. I mean, Deontay Johnson, as much as maybe he was a handful in the locker room, who the fuck is he? Who the fuck are they throwing it to?
Yeah, I mean, again, another game with a ridiculous injury report on both sides.
Jalen Coker, okay, fine, 4 of 78 and a touchdown in like absolute garbage time. Bryce Young, as people are like, he looked better. You didn't watch the game. Yeah, he had 5 completions in a row to start off. Yeah, I'm sure it's some scripted plays. The Broncos were maybe a hair sleepy in that first quarter, but like for the majority of the game, they were just getting the shit kicked out of them. And you think coming home's an advantage when you're a horrible team and you show up in your stadium and there's fucking guys with bags on their heads? Do you think that helps you win? No, it's a home field disadvantage when you're this bad.
Remember last year they had a silent protest or something.
I would make their home field advantage. I would 3 points the other way, because there's no way you want to be embarrassed in front of friends and family. No, you want to be embarrassed on the road. What are people talking themselves into? Since Christmas of last year, Panthers are 1-9 straight up, 1-9 ATS. That of course was when they put in Andy Dalton, and I was on that spot. They won. Saints are getting their offensive line healthy. I do think Derek Carr plays.
Revenge spot 47-10 earlier in the year.
Does this team look like they got any fight for revenge? Right?
the fact that Bryce Young's probably like, fuck, I got to play him again.
Yeah. I mean, Sal pointing out both teams are garbage. I get it. And maybe that's the case to not lock it up
I disagree.
It is a division game, blah, blah, blah.
In this spot, Derek Carr is back.
Yeah.
And when is Derek Carr at his best? When he's not being pressured. What do the Panthers struggle to do?
Everything.
Pressure. But specifically pressure the quarterback. 31st in adjusted sack rate. Sean.
Rare coaching advantage for Dennis Allen.
They fucked him up real bad earlier in the year. So unless there is some like grown man revenge stuff, I'm with you. Let's lay the big number. Hey, Sean, I know you probably were thinking it, but great teaser leg here for the same. Great teaser legs. And maybe we should start doing a segment where we just talk about teasing every game. Miami, game 4. They're heading to Buffalo, take on the Bills. Bills, they're the second side we're going to be talking about that are public. And I'm going to feel like a donkey if I agree with the public twice, Sean. Bills laying 6 -260 on the money line. 48.5 is the total. Dolphins plus 225. 78% of the bets as of about 7:30 Pacific time today were on the Buffalo Bills, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm with them. I mean, how can you? What again? Let's go back to what is the case for the Miami Dolphins? Hey, 6 points is a lot for that offense. They were struggling against the Cardinals at home. I really don't understand.
That was surprising. Cardinals have a better defense than I think we were giving them credit for. Perhaps
I thought the Cardinals would roll over these past 2 games. Shout out to them. Won back-to-back games for the first time since December 2021. We'll get to them later, but Mike McDaniel to me is just an extremely overrated head coach. Like he's only been able to win in like these smash obvious situations. And last week was a smash obvious situation. Still couldn't get the offense going. Sean McDermott has owned Tua. Josh Allen has owned the Dolphins. Josh Allen, or the Dolphins versus Josh Allen, 2-12 straight up, including 0-7 in Buffalo. He's been good ATS against them. I think you can really, they're going to be able to just move the ball. The Bills pass rush, I think, is finally feeling themselves. I think the Bills got whatever sort of fluky turnovers were left in the Josh Allen system. I think he got those out of the way. It's a division game at home. I don't see this being a look ahead spot for the Bills. Tua, did you see it? Tua was getting mad at someone like, "Hey, being a quarterback's a really hard job." Maybe there's something to these concussions getting you super aggressive for the brain. Like basically he was just like, oh, these dumb fans are out there sitting on their couch eating chips.
I have good eyes. I have good hands. Like I saw him later on getting mad about
that's
the
what it
snap.
was. Yeah. I have good eyes. I have good hands. Yeah, well, maybe use them while catching the snap.
Oh,
I think in a weird way, losing to the Cardinals at home was a dream crusher spot. Now, maybe I'm underestimating the fight of these Finns, but Ryan, they were supposed to be like, oh, hey, we suck because we don't have Tua. And then Tyreek Hill's like, start me in fantasy. I'm going to smash. This is a great spot. And they blow a 10-point lead at home to the Cardinals. Like, backing this team just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Josh Allen owns them.
Yeah,
he's. I mean, you look at what he's done recently, beat them.
Yes.
What he's done in his entire career, beat them. Never lost. Two losses the whole time. The only part I would say. They're not the dream crusher thing. I would say maybe not. They're a pro team, but
you're right. It's a division spot. They'll be motivated, but I don't know if that matters.
Well, and specifically the way the Bills are now like fancying themselves like a power football team.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to smash this Miami defense. And this could just be one of those games where they just kind of squeeze the clock. And Miami has some good offensive plays and explosive plays, but they're barely on the field. It's going to be here's my prediction. The announcers are talking about how it wouldn't kill the Dolphins to run a couple more plays on offense because their defense is getting worn down out there.
Yeah. And it's it's going to be a little chilly up there in Buffalo. This is just it's a great spot for the Bills. I mean, they own the Dolphins. I don't think you need to go even that much crazier. And
55 degrees.
It's chilly by Miami standards.
Okay, okay, that's fair.
And I would say too, granted Kyler Murray didn't have a ton of rushing yards, but it did seem like they were struggling with his elusiveness. And Josh Allen is slippery when wet, Ryan. So I think this is just a great spot for the Bills. Give me the Bills all day.
I could see Josh Allen anytime being on the card this weekend.
Why not? Smash! Why not? I mean, the only counter is that they've been running the ball pretty well, and maybe the running backs get it. But
yeah, it just feels like it's one of those.
It's a division game. He's at home. He's going to get up for it. I mean, they were up for a game in a non-conference favorite spot, which to me is if you can cover as a non-conference road favorite in an obvious letdown spot, and they controlled that game. Yeah, they got a couple of weird breaks with the fumbles, but no,
this team
they controlled that Seahawks team.
I mean, this Bills team is on a mission.
Yeah,
hopefully not to try to hijack something or do something coordinated.
Sean McDermott, those heroes, they work together as a team. They overcame the
football
odds.
Coaches are so dumb.
I know,
they're so dumb.
Hey, have you guys signed up with Underdog Fantasy? If not, what are you waiting for, Ryan? I'm chomping at the bit because I got a 31% profit boost sitting in my queue. Chomping at the bit to use it. What are we doing for our underdog entry?
Oh, we're gonna gamble on the show. Okay.
We're going to engage in fantasy projections.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Nothing from Thursday night, but we've talked about a couple games already. You mentioned Josh Allen, anytime touchdown. That's always fun.
Oh, you mean higher on the half rush and receiving touchdown projection?
Yes, okay. That's fun. I think.
Oh, that's a big boost. Oh, mine expires in 11 hours too, and it's $1,000 max. Hello. I'm back. I must back to donkey account.
So Josh Allen higher. It's a little spicy too.
Really?
Yeah, 1.17 spice.
Let's. Oh, wow, they even offer a 2 touchdown.
So we'll put Josh Allen in there. Do we go back to the Taysom Hill? Well,
oh boy,
let's see what they got. Taysom Hill.
Yes.
19.5 rushing yards, or do we go Taysom Hill touchdown?
They're offering rushing yards.
I
think we got to go rushing yards, right?
All right, let's keep it simple. We got Josh Allen.
What's the touchdown? Let's see.
1.48x.
No, I mean, yeah, let's go rushing yards.
Okay. Josh Allen higher a rushing and or receiving touchdown. Taysom Hill higher 19.5 rushing touchdowns. $100 wager or entry, whatever you call it, returns $428 using my 31% profit boost. Highly recommend you guys have some fun. It's a fun platform. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love to build
available in a ton of states
correlated projection opinions or leans into a one entry. All right, game number 5, the Dallas Cowboys, who totally having a great season. Nothing's going on over there that's worth looking at. Jerry must be so disappointed.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Dallas now in a back-to-back road spot. They're on the road in Hotlanta to take on the Falcons. Falcons laying 2.5. I know there's some threes out there as well. This is one of those numbers that kind of depending on the book you look at. All of our numbers came from the Circa. Minus 150 on the money line for the Falcons, plus 130 for the Cowboys. I almost kind of wish this was 3, Sean, and I'd like it better. 52 is the total. Like I mentioned, Cowboys on a back-to-back road spot, but they seem like they're catching a little interest from the sharps. And I sit back and I go, like, what world are we living? Am I really in my own bubble over here? And just like, who are these quote unquote sharps who see this Dallas Cowboy team and they go, I gotta grab up that 3.
32nd.
Give me that 3.
Ryan, 32nd in rush EPA per play. 31st in rush success rate. So even take away our insane bias for the Cowboys.
Oh, Rico's back. It's cool. Everything's fine.
Cowboys can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. Micah Parsons still dealing with that high ankle sprain. Did not practice on Wednesday.
It's starting to wonder, should they have IR'd him?
Yeah, I think if he doesn't play this game, I think this is his 4th game he's missed. So not a great handling of it. Bland, I think they opened his, I think he also didn't practice.
Diggs didn't practice. I mean,
they don't have a defense. The only thing they have going for them is Dak Desidi in garbage time. I mean, we showed you the
it's garbage men.
They really are.
So yeah, I mean, they're banged up. The vibes are not good. If you follow my my X list,
yes,
you would see that some of the Cowboys beat reporters are alluding to. I don't want to say they're suggesting that people are recovering slowly because of the coaches. Look at that.
Look at the men at work. And I think this is in the Discord. I'm
garbage men, baby.
They're garbage. They're putting in work, Ryan. Garbage men. Got to take out the garbage. This it is a fire truck ladder, but I think probably sounds similar to your normal trash truck.
Let's see.
I mean, when was the? I was doing the numbers, Ryan. When was
the JDK in Discord?
Okay, sorry, JDK, missed it. When have the Cowboys looked good this season? I was okay. Yeah, they beat the Browns. 33-17.
The Browns.
And they got destroyed by the Saints at home. Lost to the Ravens at home. You know, only by 3, but never in that game. Ugly, gross win against the Giants. Ugly, gross win against the Steelers, in which they lost a turnover battle by 3. Somehow eke that victory out. Then got destroyed. They lost by 38 points at home against the Lions. We're up 10-6 at halftime against the 49ers, lost 30-24. And that was, as we pointed out, with some garbage time. I mean, I said it, I have the clip. Shedeur Sanders to the Dallas Cowboys. Fucking mark it.
Yeah, mark that frame in it. Hey, why not? You think Dad comes with?
Oh, he might. I would not be surprised. I think him getting free reign in Jerry world. Jerry loves a good story, Ryan. What better than drafting a son and then installing his dad as a head coach? Like
that'd be like almost overshadowing the Bronny situation. Imagine how pissed off.
No, but just imagine how much media attention Jerry Jones would get. Do you think he's going to shy away from that opportunity?
I think he wants to be good, though. Do you think but he also thinks Dion would be great because he loves Dion.
As Magic Man Blanco says, of course he works in the sanitation department. He sees first hand how many Cowboy tickets are flowing in the Pooh River.
Wow.
So again, hardest working guy out there, and he's pointing out tons.
Listen, if you throw that paper in the toilet, someone's got to fish it out. In this case, it's Magic Man. That's not very nice.
Shout out to the username I Love Weed, who appears to be a Cowboys fan.
Interesting.
Calling us the Sheagles and Nats channel. The little NFC East rivalry. We're coming for you next week, Cowboys, but we're locked in. Eagles locked in on the Jags this week, 1 week at a time. And maybe the Cowboys are looking ahead. I don't know if they can do that, but
I walk out of my house this morning and my gardener or landscaper, whatever you want to call it, the guy who mows my lawn, it just looks at me, goes, "How about them Cowboys?" I'm like, "How about them Cowboys? You guys just lost. You suck too."
Yeah.
Back off. All right. So we're obviously just going to take this is a real rock hard place. We didn't really even talk about it.
No, the Atlanta Falcons.
We really haven't been on the Falcons.
No, but if you don't have a pass rush, the Falcons look pretty good.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins, feel like Kirk Cousins knows how to beat the Cowboys. All right. Game number 6 in the early window. Sean's Denver Broncos.
Let's go.
Catching a full 9 points against the Baltimore Ravens. 370 on the money line. Ravens minus 440. 46.5 is the total. I'm certain that Sean will be on the Broncos here. And the Ravens are looking ahead to Thursday night, which hasn't been a very positive trend.
Well, great way to start the handicap. We all recall the 49ers and the Seahawks looking ahead to a Thursday night matchup where the Giants came in and beat the Seahawks, and the Cardinals came into San Francisco and beat the 49ers. So would I be shocked if a similar situation plays out? Certainly the case for the Ravens is them coming off a loss. They're going to be fired up. But the Broncos have been good on the road, man. Bo Nix's first game, they pushed that 26-20, but then after that, they beat Tampa in Tampa 26-7. They beat the Jets 10-9. They destroyed the Saints 33-10. I'll ask you this: what is a game the Broncos have gotten blown out, or where they weren't hanging around at the very least? Like even that Chargers game, Chargers came in with a very physical defense, which I think is how you would beat this Broncos team. And even then, the Broncos were able to backdoor. Probably their worst loss was against the Chargers there. Bo Nix, incredible footwork. He continues to get better each week. It's easy to say, they plays bad defenses. But newsflash, like I mentioned earlier, this Ravens defense is not good. Yes, their offense is awesome. Lamar Jackson playing at an MVP level, carrying the team. But if you have a physical defense and can really shut things down and clamp things down for the Broncos, maybe they could lose by 2 scores. But this Broncos defense, number 1 in defensive EPA per play. Yeah, sure, they haven't played amazing offenses like the Ravens, but also the situation spot. Like the Ravens will be looking ahead to the Bengals on Thursday night. This is just an awesome spot for them. Like the Ravens defense isn't good.
I would agree with the look ahead spot if they didn't just come off a loss. I do think that neutralizes that a bit. And the other thing I would say is that the reason the Ravens defense is so bad is their passing defense.
Yeah,
they're quite good against the run, and I think they're going to give Denver problems. And I think Sean Payton's offense in general is predicated on running the ball. And so if you're telling me that Bo Nix is going to be relied on to pass the ball to defeat this team, I'm willing to bet on the fact that the defense is going to score a touchdown.
Oh wow, 100%.
I'm laying the points with Baltimore.
Wow,
here.
This is a horrible take, Ryan.
I like the look ahead angle until it gets neutralized by that just amazing loss to Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns. And like I said, I do think the fact that Baltimore, while they do have overall the defense has been bad, you do need to be able to pass against that
and for
that to be effective.
Bo Nix is going to be able to pass.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I'm telling you,
I would say that a lot of the games that you listed, they've played you did say it, but they've played a lot of bad teams, and specifically, they haven't really had to rely on Bo Nix's arm in too many of them. It's always been a compliment.
But if you but watching Bo Nix's mechanics, watching how he reads the field, watching how he creates plays with his legs, they're going to put up points on this Ravens team. That to me is 100% certain.
I'll be impressed if they're going to be, if they are able to put up a ton of points without being able to establish the run, like I think their offense needs to. So yeah, I absolutely think that this is the toughest test that the Denver defense has faced. And I think this game could absolutely get away from them, and it's probably going to come because of a Bo Nix pick six type situation, fumble Ruski maybe. Either way, I'm laying the points. You're taking it. Finally, I guess second disagreement. Interesting. Game 7 in the early window. The Las Vegas Raiders, who have a bye next week, Sean, they're taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are also looking ahead to Thursday night. And I also think that their situation is a bit neutralized because they just got their ass beat by your Philadelphia Eagles. And Joe Burrow's doing math, talking about how many games they got to win to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, literally, he's literally looking ahead. Like you couldn't look more ahead.
-7
by saying, "Well, what do we got to win to get in the playoffs?
Well,
7 to 9
basically,
games.
they
We can go 7 and 2.
2 losses.
Literally
based on
looking
his
past.
-7, -330 on the money line. Raiders +280.
The Bengals to me are no longer good off a loss. They used to be Joe Burrow and the Bengals used to be elite coming off a loss. That's no longer the case. And this Raiders team, I don't know what it is. Like they are just frisky enough.
They're just trying to cover spread.
Annoying. Yeah, as an underdog of 6 points or more, Antonio Pierce is 5-1 ATS, including 4-0 ATS when that game is on the road. Max Crosby just played his highest snap count of the season, I think, and you kind of saw it in that game. There was a friskiness in that Raiders defense that kind of kept them hanging around. These they're like
the game after the Chiefs game, man. They got up for the Chiefs game.
They
got up for the Chiefs.
They're playing for their lives. They're playing
for here we go.
No,
lay it.
Okay, no, I'm taking the points here.
No, I know. We're just going in different directions. And
T Higgins looks like he probably won't play again. I think Brock Bowers has opportunity against this Bengals defense. I don't think Zach Taylor is doing a good job with the play calling. Joe Burrow is turning the ball over. I think the pass rush is going to be able to impact Joe Burrow. I think this Raiders team, they're just they're like a cold sore. Like they just will not go away. You can do whatever you want to get rid of them. Yeah, it's kind of gone, but it's never really gone. The virus that is the Raiders is always inside you, Ryan.
It's never really gone. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. They're coming off a I'm not really interested in getting into a position where you're just going to be holding on for dear life, because I see 0% chance the Raiders win this game on the road.
Okay, so let's walk through it. The Bengals lost by 6 at home to the Patriots. Horrific loss.
It's very
lost
bad.
Lost to the Chiefs by 1 on the road. Probably their best game.
So they both played pretty well against the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. Covered the spread against the Chiefs. They both did that. They got destroyed by the Commanders at home.
Well, Commanders are great.
Went on the road against the Panthers and fortunate to get that cover on the road against the worst team.
Wasn't that the first Andy Dalton start?
No, that was the second.
Yeah, the Andy Dalton revenge spot. Come on, I'm explaining away all these spots.
Okay, they were up a nice amount against the Ravens, completely collapsed and lost that game. They barely beat the Giants. The only reason they beat the Browns is because they had a kick return for a touchdown.
Divisional game.
Okay. And they didn't even and then they just got destroyed by the Eagles. Like when did the Bengals, and he thought like, and I'm eating the L on it. I thought the Bengals would be a team that would compete to win the AFC. And certainly they are a team that peaks late, and maybe they get this win, but they don't get this cover.
Yeah, I think this will be a get right game for the offense, even if T Higgins isn't out there. I think they'll have some success, and I do think their defensive front will be enough against this Raiders offense that's just been horrible. And again, they're coming off the Chiefs game. It was the opposite of whatever the Kermit get up spot was. They were also up. Game number 8, the Washington Commander football team Redskins. They are heading to New York to take on the Giants, a situation they typically don't fare very well. 88% of the bets coming in on the Commanders, Sean. Watch out. Giants off short rest on playing on that Monday night against the Steelers. Maybe we should investigate a teams coming off the Steelers in terms of fading them.
Oh, okay.
They were in hindsight, the way the Giants defense played against this Commanders offense, and the fact that they basically should have won the game if they had a healthy kicker. This is why you have a healthy kicker on the Sunday roster.
It's good strategy. Brian Dable, coach of the year.
They should not be.
Is he going to be? Are they going to pull the swinging gate 2-point?
That was a bad call. That was dreadful, but still, it was Singletary's fault in the end.
You're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen.
That's true. That's true. So hopefully they stopped coaching that and wasting any time in practice on that bullshit. The Giants don't lose to the Commanders,
except they did.
Because they didn't have a healthy kicker.
Do they have a healthy kicker?
I'm sure there will be a healthy punter and kicker, so they don't lose to the Commanders.
I mean,
any further questions?
No, this is a tough game for me to pick because
really.
Well, yeah, I do think the Commanders they're obviously a much better football team. I think Brian Dable is not a good coach.
Oh, here we go.
No, I think they're a poorly coached team. And I'm not even honestly trying to troll Ryan. I just don't think he's getting the most out of his guys. Like I think the two good players on the Giants, Dexter Lawrence and Malik Neighbors, are good in spite of the coaching and not because of it. Like I haven't seen a lot of guys that Brian Dable, especially on the offensive side, for a guy that's made his bones coaching up quarterbacks, making quarterbacks better. Like that's what his specialty is. I haven't seen any progress from Daniel Jones.
What I've seen, his specialty is play calling, offensive adaptations, and being able to maximize. I agree. I mean, the offensive line coach for the first 2 years was a massive problem. There was zero development. And so I think that's still a relative problem. I on the defensive side, I think I slightly disagree because I think making the change on the defensive side to build a defense that's a little bit more centered around the strengths of what you have, now resulting in a number 1 adjusted sack rate and a tremendous pass rush. That feels a little bit like they got that part right. But yeah, obviously the quarterback development. Clearly they so how the fuck? Better question: how did Daniel Jones get into Princeton? Dude?
He does not.
Can we look into that?
He does not look like an intelligent guy.
Tommy DeVito, he's healthy. He was at the Yankee game with his Dago agent.
I mean, I would love to when are they gonna pull the switch, put in DeVito or put in Locke, give that team a spark. I mean, if this year for the Giants is going to be about seeing what pieces we have to build to with the future, with the idea that you're going to be drafting a quarterback in the top 10, you missed the window on Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, stop it. You're way high on Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Najee Harris 19 for 114. Like I feel like you can push around this defense as good as the pass rush is. They're very bad at stopping pass catching running backs, aka Austin Eckler. Brian Robinson Jr. could have a good game. I mean, Ryan, you're taking the 4 points here with your Giants.
They don't lose to the Commanders. I don't have a choice.
And they're so bad at home. I don't have a choice. Could they request a venue change for this game? Because
maybe play this at the Rutgers stadium?
Neutral field. 658 days since Daniel Jones threw a touchdown in New York. Now, granted, he's just started 6 games in that time, but still, that's a long time without a passing touchdown.
Feels like you're framing some data, as they say.
No, but all right, six games at home, he hasn't thrown a passing touchdown. Do you need to throw a passing touchdown to cover this 4?
Probably, maybe, but we'll see. The Commanders still have it's an improving defense by the numbers, and they look better on the eye test because it's been working. But
give me the Commanders.
Okay, they don't lose to them. They
literally lost to them earlier.
Asterisks. They didn't have a healthy kicker. They 100% would have won that game.
Hey, have you guys signed up over on BetUS? If not, what are you waiting for? We just gave out some picks for the Breeders' Cup. They got a sweet Breeders' Cup bonus. Sign up, figure it out, see what they got cooking. I don't want to reveal the surprise. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus, promo code SGPN. I can vouch for them firsthand. Easily withdrew my cryptocurrency after I had some nice winners. Easily deposit it to try and get some more winners. It's America's favorite sports book. They've been in business for 30+ years, meaning, hey, you know what you get here. You know you can trust them. Got a sweet photo of Michael Vick rocking a BetUS cap saying BetUS changed the game for 30 years. BetUS, or sorry, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS, promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS.
Got another Michael Vick story.
Okay.
Well, we were just talking about the Commanders and the Giants, but I will never forget that Commanders Eagles game, Monday Night Football, where just lit them the fuck up.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was Michael Vick launching 60-yard bomb. Imagine if that happened today. They'd be showing the analytics.
I ordered a Michael Vick jersey in like the third quarter. It was awesome.
He was different. All right. Moving along to the late window, Sean, 4 games this weekend.
Okay.
Not bad. I like that. Better than 3. First one, Chicago on a back-to-back road spot. They're heading to Arizona to take on the frisky Cardinals. Cardinals laying 1.5 here, -125 on the money line. Bears +105. 44.5 is the total. How do you handicap them coming off this obviously disappointing loss by Hail Mary? I feel like I've been fairly dialed in on the Cardinals. It's been disappointing when I get them wrong and they end up I pick against them and they win.
I've not had a good handle on this Cardinals team because I thought these past 2 games I picked against them. Thought they were games where they wouldn't show up. I picked the Bears. These are probably 2 teams I haven't had a great pulse on. You know, you look at Arizona quietly, that defense is kind of figuring some stuff out. I do think this is one of the, it's weird because I don't think Caleb Williams has really faced a ton of tough defenses. That Washington defense really, I mean, they struggled and Caleb Williams looked pretty rough. This is a back-to-back road spot. Certainly there's a massive letdown spot. Now there are a lot of Chicagoans in the Arizona area.
Oh, wow.
I think there will be a mini crowd there.
You're saying some people that moved there and maybe got some new names.
No, I'm not talking about the Chicago outfit. I'm talking about people who hate shoveling snow and live down there.
Got it.
Bears have played, according to some metrics, a super easy schedule. Cards have played a tough schedule. You know, man,
Cards have definitely played some games. They feel pretty battle tested.
Yeah,
and
they're a weird team. Like to your point, beating that physical, well-coached Chargers team on Monday night. I didn't see that coming. I still this is back-to-back games where after the game is over, I'm like, how the fuck did that Cardinals team win that game? Kyler Murray's making some plays. Trey McBride is a really tough guard. Marvin Harrison had some nice games. I'm kind of inclined to take the Cardinals, but I don't like taking a home favorite, only laying 1.5. But then the other kicker for me is, how does Chicago react in a back-to-back road spot after that super tough loss?
So I would, So I think it starts with the fact that the thing that the Cardinals have started to figure out, and highlighted last week against the Dolphins, is they've started to figure out the run defense. And I think when you look at this Bears team, Shane Waldron's offense also kind of predicated on the running game.
Well, and Jonathan Gannon versus a rookie quarterback. I kind of thought Gannon, probably an underrated defensive coordinator, did some really good stuff with the Eagles in their Super Bowl run.
Clearly the Eagles took a step back when he left.
True. And the defense has kind of recovered this year, but it definitely was, there has been some growing pains, and they had a super talented roster that year.
Is Montez Sweat what's your gauge on that? I know he didn't practice today. I don't know if it was just a rest day or what, but I don't know. It just seems like
still tending to an injury.
When you look at the matchup, it also on the other side, certainly if Sweat's out, that impacts the pass rush for the Bears. Well, The Cardinals have been pretty good on on the offensive line. They're fourth in adjusted sack rate on the offensive side. Some of that's also Kyler.
Yeah.
And so for a team that does kind of rely on their passing game, which is really starting to come into their own, they have, you have Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison on the outside. You have Trey McBride working underneath. You have Connor in the running game. It seems like this Cardinals team is only crescendoing, and I guess I would disagree with you. This feels like a spot where we're just getting a discount on a number.
Yeah, I'll take Arizona minus the points because ultimately I think this is going to be a tough spot for Chicago. You look at the injury report. There's a ton of guys who didn't practice today on Wednesday. A little bit of a guessing game who actually sees action, but I think that again why I'm taking the Redskins over your team, Ryan.
Whoa,
they're a pretty physical team.
Story on this one will be the Arizona Cardinals offensive line. I think when all said and done, game number 2 in the late window, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles. I heard a rumor that this was supposed to be the night game, but they said no. We must watch Vikings Colts instead. Joe Flacco is going to be the starter. Plus 7.5 for the Jags. Plus 280 on the money line. Minus 330 for the Eagles. 46 is the total. I believe this number has already moved a bit. Opening at 6.5 and now being bet up. I guess is this quit related or injury related for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Because they're trading away guys, which generally says, hey, we're waving the white flag, but also a little bit banged up at the receiving core.
Yeah, so Christian Kirk done for the year.
Yes, broke his collarbone.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. didn't practice today, dealing with the chest injury. Tank Bigsby didn't practice. Gabe Davis didn't practice. Travis Etienne didn't practice. Andrew Wingard, the safety, didn't practice. Mason Smith. They were all these guys were all limited. So Brian Thomas did practice. I think he's probably
the Brian Thomas thing is weird, and it's another one where he was going to miss like extended time.
Yeah,
and now he's practicing like a Michael Pittman.
The
situation.
The injury reports this year are particularly slippery. To me, it's not going to have a massive impact. Christian Kirk was reliable for them, but to me, it starts and ends with Trevor Lawrence on the road. I mean, he's had some moments where he's looked competent at home, but on the road. 5.8 yards an attempt, 84.2 passing rating. Like he's looked really rough. They continue to just figure out ways to lose games. I don't think Doug P has some extra motivation to shove it down the Eagles' throat. I mean, there's a fucking statue outside the building. Like who else is building Doug Peterson a statue? Now, I think maybe the case against the Eagles are, they've righted the ship. You could say against subpar competition, but Ryan is really high on the Bengals. So maybe that was a good win. I don't know. The haters will say it's fake.
No,
you liked the Bengals as a team, right?
No, I'm anti-Bang. I like the Bengals this week.
Okay.
I can bet on teams that I don't like.
No, but I mean, I think you have to be somewhat high on the Bengals as a team to lay 7 points at home with them, right?
In this matchup against the Raiders, absolutely.
So, but would you say beating the Bengals in Cincinnati was a good win? Because a lot of people were throwing shade at the Eagles, saying that they beat trash teams. They beat a sub 500 team.
I mean, but anytime you dominate, it counts. It's the NFL.
I agree, and
on the road, non-conference, sleepy spot. I'm not those people you're shouting at.
I think their secondary for the Eagles has played really well. Quinyon Mitchell, rookie cornerback, knock on wood, hasn't allowed a touchdown pass. That's pretty rare. Cooper DeJean, the people are calling him. He's been awesome. Made a huge stop on 4th down.
What does he call himself? Do we know?
Well, Cooper DeJean, like John is a Philly thing, so that's become his official name.
Okay, but it is his actual name.
No one cares to learn, Ryan. Okay. It's Cooper DeJean is his official name. And I thought the Eagles would miss Jordan Mailata, and maybe they did early on, but Fred Johnson, if you watch the all 22, he did a very good job in pass protection, doing a good job neutralizing Trey Hendrickson. And then if Lane Johnson, AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts are healthy, this offense has been playing pretty well, and the defense seems to be finding themselves. I think they can play clean football against the Jags, not turn it over. I think the counter is, oh, this could be a look ahead spot. Cowboys are on deck. It's a big spread. Yeah. I think would be the counter, but I think this Jags team wants no part of this game. Like their season's over. They traded Cam Robinson, who was supposed to be their starting left tackle, and then got injured and apparently lost his job. But I think I mean, how much longer is Doug P their head coach? It feels like a sinking ship for Jacksonville. So I think the Eagles roll again.
I worry about the look ahead spot, but the Eagles have been pretty. I mean, again, when it rains, it pours, and so if you think the Jags are a trash to your point, Sean, if they're good at beating up trash teams, the Jags appear to be a trash team. So we're laying the big number, and I think this is maybe the leg. This is a great teaser leg too. You would probably agree.
Agree. Yeah. And Dick Puncher saying going back to the AJ Brown anytime touchdown as Mike Evans temporarily RIP memorial play. AJ Brown has a very, very good matchup, I think, against the Jags secondary. So I'm in on the Eagles. What are you doing, Ryan?
Can he beat man coverage? Yeah, no,
that's all. Yeah, of course he can.
No, I know this is the easiest. This is one of the easier plays on the board.
Really?
I think so.
For the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
I think there's a number of spots where there's nice, juicy, big favorites. Teaser's going to be pretty easy to build this week. Game number 3, 125 on the West Coast. The Los Angeles Rams head up to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Nice matchup here. Rams seem like they're all the way back. They think they got a chance at the division. -1.5 here, -125 on the money line. Seahawks +1.5, or I'm sorry, +105. 48.5 is the total. Rams with a little bit of extra time to prepare. Seahawks looking to the bye. Seahawks acquiring players, which is interesting because they don't seem like they're competing for anything right now. I think this Rams offense is just a completely different animal here.
Yeah.
When you have all these players back, and the Seattle Seahawks have been a team that if Geno can have time. He's had some moments. DK is going to be back. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So to me, that's where the handicap lies. Can the Rams pressure Geno Smith? Because if they can, and I tend to think they need to, because they're not. I don't think they're going to have success against the run.
I mean, I have not been impressed with Mike McDonald as a head coach. I just haven't. Now. Yeah, I think
him and Brian Callahan might be a little like little dodo.
Yeah,
little dodo bird.
Hey, I mean, again,
smart guys.
You're kind of. We really don't know what a coach is made of until we actually see them in game situations. It's like, okay, they were good on the. They were good as this coordinator. Yeah, they worked under this guy. You can project, but you don't really know until you see it. And I was skeptical of the Seahawks coming into the season. They started out 3-0. I was catching a ton of heat. And I held the line, and they started falling apart. They did get that win against Atlanta, which we kind of sniffed out that spot.
Right, they've been all hot and cold.
Right, you locked up the Bills last week against them at home. I mean, Geno on that 4th down play, tripping over essentially, whatever, the lineman's foot.
He stepped on his foot. In fairness,
on 4th down though, like it's just a team that feels pretty out of sync. I get the defense might look a little bit better with DK Metcalf, but I thought the Rams defense actually looked pretty good against that Vikings offense. Now, some of that was maybe the Christian Darrisaw injury, but
also knowing the system well probably helped.
Agreed. But I think also they kind of know the Seahawks pretty well, and they own them. Sean McVay against the Seahawks has been very good. Rams are straight up 14-7 against Seattle the last 21. I think this is a very good matchup for the Rams offense. Like, look at what, and I'll pull up what was the Bills box score. Like, I mean, you can eat against the Seattle defense in the middle of the field. Cooper, I know we thought Cooper Kupp was going to have a good game last Thursday night. Obviously,
Puka was like, nope.
Yeah, Puka coming in out of nowhere was really big for them. But Dawson Knox at 2 for 50, Dalton Kincaid 4 for 31. Like, you can attack that middle. I mean, just the secondary in general, I think for Seattle has been really just been soft. And I know they're dealing with some injuries, but I think this is a great spot for the Rams. Historically, McVay, at least with Stafford, hasn't been good ATS with extra rest. But if you look at it, I think a lot of that was like they were big favorites. This is, hey, they're essentially laying 1.5 in Seattle. I'm not scared of Seattle as a home dog here. I love the Rams.
One thing that did pop up in my research for this is that Stafford, as a member of the Rams, has thrown an interception in 3 out of 4 against Seattle.
Yeah, but he's probably, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but guy probably has the best winning percentage in games he's also thrown an interception. Like I just gut instinct, crunch the numbers. And maybe it's just his time in the Rams because obviously he lost a ton of games with the Lions, but I feel like he can win a bunch of games and still throw picks.
I mean, I just don't think Seattle's very good.
Yeah,
but that's the one thing I got stuck on was I'm also not sure about the Rams. Like and for the same reasons we liked Seattle against Atlanta could exist. I mean, Atlanta is a version of the Rams. And so I worry that that could pop its head up, but I'll hop on the McVay train.
Shout out to this guy, Beans McDouglas. I'm guessing that's not your real name, but awesome
sick
YouTube
photo.
handle.
Sick photo.
Keen pointing out Kyron Williams rush yards over. Yeah, he's been a machine in the anytime touchdown market, Ryan. Shame on us for not figuring that out sooner, but he has just been a
very
bucket.
Expensive.
For what, his anytime touchdown price? Yeah. What's it at now?
I'd have to pull it up, but
he scored in every game. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. Sometimes these minus 180 running backs, not always super fun.
Yeah, but we should be playing it. So you're also on the Rams. All right.
100% on the Rams. Not even close. Detroit, game number 4. This must be America's game of the week, Sean. The Detroit Lions, who, by the way, are a public side, which makes sense because they are looking very good lately. Minus 3.5 on the road in Green Bay. You can find some threes out there. I'm told plus 160 on the money line. 46.5 is the total. Sean, Green Bay looking ahead to the bye week. Jordan Love, I guess they're messing around like he might play. Groin injuries are they seem like the kind of injury you're not going to try to play through when you have a bye on deck.
I think you could make an argument both ways of like, hey, you play through it now and then you have 2 weeks to rest it up.
I'm specifically just saying this type of injury is because you're going to re-injure yourself. I would almost guarantee if he tries to play with this groin injury that he's going to make it worse.
Yeah, and LaFleur, it's tough to trust him. He's a little slippery with the injury stuff as well. But I mean, I'm handicapping this right now as if Malik Willis is the starter. We're getting 3.5 points as a home dog, and give me the candy, as the kids say. I think Matt LaFleur has been good. I mean, he's one of the best coaches ATS as a dog. 24-11 ATS. As a dog, you might see a little weather in this game. I think this is obviously a huge get up spot for the Packers and the Lions. I mean, hats off to the Lions. This Lions team has been dominating. They've been coming through in big spots. Weren't looking past the Titans there, completely decimated them. It's tough to pick against them. Goff is nicked up a little bit, missed a practice, deal with an ankle. By all accounts, he's going to be a go. Maybe not going to be 100%. And Jared Goff, when you take him outdoors, not quite the same. And he's been incredibly efficient. Not good time for the pricing on Jared Goff sucks island. Thankfully, Bitcoin doing well, balancing out the portfolio. But I think Packers at home with a defense that's probably a little bit better than people are giving credit for, that can probably create some turnovers against this Detroit Lions team, and the Lions team that, yeah, I think when they're going up against a good quarterback may end up starting to miss Aiden Hutchinson a little bit. And I think the fact that the difference between Jordan Love and Malik Willis's play style, I think keeps teams on their toes. I'm going to take Green Bay as the 3.5 point home dog here. Right?
You're supposed to lay the 3.5, Sean. Now you say things. So I
know you hate Jordan Love.
No. In fact, this actually makes me think Jordan Love is seen by more people as not being very good. That the look ahead can be -1 and only move to 3.5, when I'm pretty sure we're getting Malik Willis. Like I can't imagine. Like I know we were talking earlier in the week, and you were making it seem like you think this could get out to 6 with a Malik Willis.
No, once he's officially announced as the starter, this would go up. Yes, would be my prediction.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So how high do you think it gets to from 3.5?
Yeah, maybe 5.5, maybe 6.
Okay, because I mean, it would be pretty hilarious if he was only worth 2.5 points to Jordan Love. But no, to me,
this is them splitting the difference.
I understand.
Okay,
but I wonder how much higher it goes, because doesn't it seem obvious that they're not going to start Love? Is it not that obvious?
No, it's not that obvious, because he injured it and he was still playing. Now, also, if he plays, he's clearly not 100%. So that's why I know you're throwing shade at Jordan Love by saying, "Oh, he's not worth X amount in the market." But I think that's factoring in. There's no healthy Jordan Love as a possibility in this spectrum.
The market is throwing shade. And honestly, if you say that, then it basically the move could just be based on the fact that we're either getting Malik Willis or injured Jordan Love. So yeah, it probably goes up. I wonder if it would get as high as 6. But the handicaps would start with like the Green Bay weakness, whether it's the way however you want to look at their run defense, their adjusted line yards has been stopping the run. The thing that Detroit Lions excel at the most, and also the way that you would take the ball out of Jared Goff's hands, or not wanting to worry about his small, slippery hands dropping the football. And so I think there's a version or a number of versions of this game where Detroit just beats the crap out of Green Bay. This turns into a low scoring, both teams trying to establish the run. And I trust Detroit to stop the run better than Green Bay. And I trust Detroit to run the ball better than Green Bay. Easy money. Lay the 3.5. Don't take it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm sticking with the home dog.
You're getting cute. I see it though.
No, I don't think so. I think Malik Willis has been if you haven't played Malik Willis, I think he's tougher for teams to figure out.
I keep kicking around in my brain the fact that there's enough tape on him that it's gonna at some point it's gonna look bad, because I know Malik Willis is not a good quarterback. I believe what my eyes have seen before. All right, Sean. Sunday night, which was supposed to be the Eagles game, apparently our commissioner didn't find that fitting for his eyes at night in prime time. The Indianapolis Colts catching 5.5 points. You know, they've been pretty good against the spread this year, Sean. Plus 210 on the money line. 47 is the total. Big news. And it does seem like it is maybe related that this might have something to do with Anthony Richardson pulling himself out of a game, something that no one who's ever analyzed or commentated on football has seen before. Everyone's shock and awe to him. I was honestly a little bit surprised. We're so sympathetic to players nowadays, and most people are so unwilling to actually criticize. They'll hot take criticize them, but the fact that everyone came out and said this is bullshit.
Well,
this is bullshit.
I wouldn't say everyone did, right? Everyone in the gambling space.
Oh, okay.
But and former players certainly said, "I've never seen this," and anyone who's watched football has said that. But
who had a positive take on?
The fantasy community and some Colts fans are like, "You're giving up on Anthony way too early." And you shouldn't move on from this kid. Yeah, that was draining. That was a mistake. The argument for sticking with Anthony Richardson, I can at least see, because the argument for sticking with Anthony Richardson is, hey, you took this guy number 4 overall. Yep. When you drafted him, he only started 10 games in college. He came in with a guy with literally no experience,
pre-existing condition.
He's not going to figure it out in 10 games.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that. The mistake they made was bringing in a guy like Joe Flacco, who is a veteran, who has it all figured out, who is fucking awesome.
Similar skill sets.
Because you're going to lose the locker room, because anyone on that team goes, yeah, we want this guy winning, being our quarterback. We don't care about the development of the Colts. We care about the development of us as a team, because if we win, I make more money, and I want to make more money. So you kind of like the rest of they made the mistake of getting a good backup quarterback. Right? Like if
Browns really fucked everything up.
If I mean, if Carson Wentz was the backup quarterback, no one would be. Colts fans would be like, no, stick it out with Richardson. But now you put Joe Flacco in, who took the Browns on that ride. Who is what is he like 6-0-1 his last 7 starts? He's a guy that and against Brian Flores, right? He's a guy who, if anyone knows how to pick up a blitz or sit in the back of the pocket, take pressure, chuck it up down the field, it's Joe fucking Flacco.
It's certainly an upgrade over Anthony Richardson against Brian Flores.
I know completion percentage would be considered a donkey stat, but 21 percentage points higher than Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson was off the graph. He's been playing so poorly. I mean, Sean, last week I had a under 16.5 completions bet on a quarterback in a Shane Steichen offense, and I didn't have to sweat it. He finished with 10. He's just not. All right, I get. Do you remember how excited people got watching him throw a football into the roof?
No, he's an incredible.
It's like, come on, guys. Do you remember Jamarcus Russell? Imagine if he wasn't a fat ass. It would be Anthony Richardson.
Well, and there must be stuff.
Also, he's soft. And I called this 2 weeks ago with him constantly getting knocked out of games.
Yeah,
he voluntarily leaves a game.
It's crazy.
Soft.
And I think the locker room was like, we're not playing for that guy. And they forced Shane Steichen's hand.
I often tell my children that their generation is soft. And I'm going to show this to them and like, watch this. He took himself out of the game because he was tired. That's
every press clipping when he's on the sidelines, when he's giving interviews, Anthony Richardson is wearing glasses, except when he's on the field. I swear to God, it's like a Rick Wild Thing Vaughn where the next time Anthony Richardson is playing football, God help me, put a pair of glasses on that kid. Like, you can't play quarter if you need glasses and you're playing without glasses. What are you doing? Right? It wasn't. Remember Jameis before he got the LASIK eye surgery? How much better he got immediately?
Yeah, I mean Bryce Harper, another one that comes to mind, who just they're like, yeah, it turned out he couldn't see.
It sounds dumb, but he needs to either wear glasses or get LASIK. All right, the Anthony Richardson saga aside, this Vikings team, they are coming off long rest, but I don't know, man. I think when you lost Christian Darrisaw, I think that is a massive loss. Now I know they traded for Cam Robinson,
big trade,
but he wasn't even starting for the Jags.
Gives you something.
Oh no, I think for the Vikings it's a step up, but and helps them for the rest of the season. But I don't know if he's going to have an impact in this game. I mean, do you think they start him at left tackle?
I mean, I can't imagine he's going to be. It's at best, I would imagine a bit of a rotation.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess just for this game, I think long term it's a good idea for them. That being said, this Colts team, everyone but Anthony Richardson, I think I'm excited about for this Colts team. Instant upgrade in offense. Downs become super interesting in fantasy props wise. They did get Jonathan Taylor back. He had 100 rushing yards. You give Joe Flacco 100 rushing yard a running back and the receiving weapons around him, and you put him in a dome. He's got a streak going of 2 touchdown games. He's going to continue that. Locker room, there's going to be a clear bump. Not only is he the start of this game, but Shane Steichen went out of his way to say he's the starter moving forward. This Colts defense came back to life with DeForest Buckner. So I like the Colts a lot here.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, it's an interesting matchup for Sam Darnold on the defensive side, cause he has started to regress a little bit. And then, just on the offensive side, I think, how can you not upgrade this team? Look ahead was 7. Now it's 5.5. And that's probably a little on both sides. And the first point you made was the best point, which is, man, Anthony Richardson versus a Brian Flores defense would have been an absolute disaster.
It would have been a disaster.
And now you got to imagine they can at least have a better plan. So while the Colts don't look as great on paper, I do think the one area to circle here is that, again, the Flores defense has mostly taken snaps while leading, with the ability to cause havoc. And the one of the things that you can kind of hang your hat on this Colts team is they have been blocking well And I think just Joe Flacco will have that sense. We're going to see a handful of them where he's like, "Oh, the blitz is coming. I'm just going to backpedal and chuck it up straight in the air." Maybe Adonai Mitchell shows up for a couple potential 2 touchdowns. The tight ends always get interesting when Flacco's in the game, so figure out which one. But yeah, got to take the points. This Colts team, to the numbers we've picked on our show, Sean, this Colts team has only not covered once.
They've been awesome. ATS. They've been awesome,
and that's with Mr. Richardson's horrendous play. If I'm the Giants, I call him and offer a 3rd rounder right now. Get Dable's hands on that clay.
They would. I would be shocked if they would trade him for a 3rd rounder.
What are you going to do with him though? You crushed. This guy's soft. You crushed his confidence now.
Well, eventually Joe Flacco's probably going to get hurt at some point. Then he's going to get more game reps. It's one of those things. You're not going to get better not playing. That's been my advice.
Is there a chance he leaves the team because he's sad?
No.
Okay.
But I don't know what you do for him.
I don't want to predict that, but I think if I was ever going to predict a soft action from
out
an
with
athlete,
sadness,
I think he could put his glasses back on. That's for sure. Last up, Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs laying a big number again, -9, -400 on the money line. 45.5 is the total. Well, that's a juicy 335 on the Bucs side, Sean. Maybe you'll be all over it. Extended rest for the Bucs coming off Thursday night. I mean, the Chiefs just keep winning games. They could give 2 fucks about covering. I liked what we saw from Baker without Mike Evans and Godwin last week. We know how much of a good matchup the tight end is against the Chiefs. So I would imagine Kate Otten is going to eat again. And this is this feels like a trap. That's my it's like, oh yeah, well, I guess we're going to take the points with this Bucs team because they're going to find a way to backdoor this in the end, even if things aren't going well.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, maybe the certainly the issues are that the optimism I had for the Bucs defense has just really gone out the window. I mean, yeah, they're without Godwin and Evans, and that's had an impact on them. But they've been defensively, they've been really disappointing. I chalked it up to them having a bunch of injuries, missing Antoine Winfield, some of their bigger guys. Vita Vea missed some time, and I was like, oh, well, when they get their guys healthy, their defense will be good. Their defense is healthy, and it's still not really what it should be. But to your point, I
don't know. I mean, the Falcons game, you remove that fumble right off the bat, and who knows? We're talking about them coming off the win. The Ravens are a great team. I mean, really, you can kind of, for me, I can explain away the situations where the Bucs have looked not great. I think the defense is, especially against this Chiefs team, against the fact that I think the fact that they are stout against the run, and they are gonna. I think in this matchup they'll be fine. I don't know. That, like, to me, of the big spreads, this feels the most obvious to be a bad number. Now the flip side is Baker against this defense. Are we going to get a bad Baker game?
Yeah, that's
we haven't gotten a bad Baker game.
Yeah, but I think I like the Bucs in the 9. I don't think they're live on the money line, which it's always scary. But on the other side, as good as the Chiefs defense has been, the Chiefs offense continues to kind of struggle, and a lot of it is Patty Mahomes turning the ball over. I mean, that's the dirty little secret right now, Ryan.
That's the comparison. Baltimore, Denver, Kansas City, Tampa. They to me, these are not 2 games that feature teams that this far away on the far apart on the number. And so the fact that Kansas City in that analogy, to me, should be this should be a 7-point spread at best. So yeah, that's why I said it feels trappy. Like they're moving it on a little teaser protection on me, so I can't say I like it as a teaser leg.
Most regular season interceptions since the start of last season: Patrick Mahomes 23, second place Sam Howell, third place Jordan Love. It's funny because Sam Howell hasn't played at all this year, and Jordan Love's missed a bunch of games. The only one who's played all the games, Patty Mahomes, which I guess makes sense that he's the leader, but he just hasn't looked good. And this could be a somewhat ish letdown spot. It's a non-conference opponent between 2 division games, but it's the Chiefs on Monday night. I'm sure they'll be up for the game. And again, they've been playing with their food the entire season. The offense has continued to struggle. We haven't seen a breakout game. Maybe this is it for them, but I'll take the Bucks in the 9.
Who does the rain help?
I think it always uncertainty in weather conditions. I think always helps the dog.
Yeah, I'm with you. Of all the big numbers this week, this is the one where I think dog makes sense. But I'm not really interested in the money line because it does seem like
the Chiefs win every game.
Chiefs are going to be up 14.
Yeah,
up 17, whatever 16. They'll find a way to not cover the number.
Time for our lock, dog, and tease presented by Rhythm. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. Get your free 7-day trial. Play around, build your own NFL model. It's been super fun experience. Lean on some of these models. They've been doing a great job in the props. They just launched their NBA product. They went 24-3 night 1 in NBA props. So clearly they're cooking with gas here. Love the guys at Rhythm. Again, building the model is very easy. You just slide whatever kind of attributes you want left and right. It's almost like playing a Madden game, Ryan. They do all the heavy lifting for you. And of course, let's take a look at what Rhythm likes this week. We'll start off with Thursday Night Football. Rhythm, Ryan, we are in rhythm with Rhythm because Rhythm also likes the Houston Texans. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. They like their model likes Texans plus 1.5. My model likes Texans plus 1.5. Build your own model at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, Ryan, let's get to the locks, dog, and tease. First lock for me, give me the Buffalo Bills at home.
What?
Lane 6. They own the Miami Dolphins. It's just that simple. My other lock, give me the Denver Broncos plus 9. For my dog, give me the Indianapolis Colts on the money line. Joe Flacco gets it done. This is plus 210 right now. I mean, I'm thinking, and we'll save it for the VSiN show, Ryan, the tail of the tape parlay, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did a Bengals Ravens look ahead parlay with Indy in there as well as like a round robin money line situation. I think all those dogs are live, but Indy at plus 210 with the Joe Flacco bump is my favorite of the bunch. For my tease, let's go New Orleans down to 1.5. Carolina is very, very bad at football. Other leg of the tease is teases. They're interesting this week.
You're just on the wrong side of some of the good teaser legs.
Give me New England up to 9.5 in a tease.
Oh dear God!
And give me Houston.
No.
Give me Houston up to 8. I mean, I think the other teams that were potential locks for me, Ryan, were the Rams and were Houston. Those were other potential locks. But yeah, lock Bills -6, Broncos plus 9, Indy on the money line plus 210. The tease is New Orleans down to 1.5. Patriots up to 9.5. Houston up to 8. Kramer, what do you got?
All right, so there's one game that I've already bet on this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How mysterious.
It's the Buffalo Bills.
There you go.
I hate to be on the same thing as you, but that is a massive lock. Lock number 2. I think it's going to have to be this Arizona Cardinals team.
Ooh, really?
Against the Bears. Yeah, to me, this is a 3-point spread. It should be a 3-point spread. I think we're still trailing a little bit on what this Arizona team is. Dog, Giants don't lose to the Commanders twice in one season. Giants plus, and by the way, the Giants do have their punter on the injury report. So just get another one. Just get another fucking punter. Please.
I mean, shout out to the Jets for actually doing that.
Please. Dog. Oh yeah, Giants are my dog. Then tease, fairly easy tease week for me. We're gonna go Saints down to 1.5, Bengals down to 1.
Hold on, New Orleans -1.5, Cincy -1. Yes,
Eagles -1.5.
Okay. All right, time for the Circa million.
I like your Indy money line as well.
Okay, Buffalo -6 is in there. Denver +9, Arizona -1.5. I think you said you like Indy money line. I think we got to play Indy plus 5.5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then last pick, as far as what was close to locking was Rams for me or Houston. Those were two I like that we agree on. How about you, Ryan?
I like I mean, that's a good selection. I assume you don't want to put the Saints in the mix.
I mean, I don't mind fading. A strategy of fading Bryce Young is a successful strategy.
I don't know. It just feels like there's more potential weirdness in that Rams Seahawks game.
Okay.
Than I also agree with the Houston angle, but it's Thursday night. So I would say, what do you think about laying the 7.5 with the Saints?
I don't mind it.
Is that crazy?
No.
All right.
Carolina sucks.
Let's do that.
All right. New Orleans -7.5. So
Carr's back, baby.
Yeah. Buffalo -6, Denver +9, Arizona -1.5, Indy +5.5, New Orleans -7.5. So 3 favorites, 2 dogs. Feels like a good card there. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. Made it to the end of the show, which means, hey, toss us a nice little 5-star rating. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, continue to do battle with the corporate bigwigs on the Spotify podcast chart. Only takes 5 seconds, even if you listen elsewhere. All those views count.
Yes, please.
And toss us a nice thumbs up over on youtube.com/sportsgambling podcast. We'll be back tomorrow talking NFL props. We also got the bonus college basketball episode, the VSiN show at 8:00 Pacific. And you can get that over at VSiN.com, or if you have YouTube TV Sunday Ticket, you probably already have VSiN. You might not even know it. Just search Sports Gambling Podcast, and the VSiN show should come up soon when you have VSiN.
You'll see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, hit the record button. We do some bonus props, some anytime touchdowns, our tail of the tape parlay. CJ's a guest usually, and yeah, it's a fun show.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Happy week 9, Sean
Kramer. Let it ride.